physical manipulation, mental and emotional manipulation techniques that have shown to work in America that the rest of the country then gets. That's why fast food, soundbite news, and all the rest of it has come out of America. I feel for Americans because they really are at the forefront of this in so many ways. And all this stuff is designed to access the body computer and destabilize it. MSG, by the way, what is that? It's a flavor enhancer. What does that mean? It means tricking the brain to decode more taste than is actually there. They know how the bloody system works. All these drugs they give to kids and stuff, and so many, if not all of these people that are crazy with guns have been on this stuff. Aspartame, it's a brain suppressor, a brain poison, brought onto the market by Donald Rumsfeld when he was head of Searle Pharmaceuticals, sold out for a fortune to Monsanto. Fluoride in the water, used in the concentration camps to suppress the mental faculties of the inmates. Now put into drinking water to protect teeth. Doesn't protect teeth. It's an illusion. It's just an excuse. Frankenstein food. Genetically modified food from Monsanto in St. Louis, one of the most monumental Illuminati companies on planet Earth that now is the supplier of aspartame. And the genetically modified food is designed to genetically modify us because DNA affects DNA. You are what you eat. And if we continue to eat what they're giving us, then my God, what we are going to be beggars belief. Vaccines. I know what it's like in Croatia, in Britain now, in America. Children, 18 months old, by the time they're 18 months old, they've had 25 vaccinations and combinations of vaccinations. There's a developing, forming immune system which is bombarded by poison on a staggering scale to protect the children from diseases that were in free fall before the vaccinations came in. Because we have an immune system which is designed to sort out these things if left to its own devices, and if through good nourishment and good health, which the rest of this stuff takes away, we build to its optimum power. What we're doing is undermining every single young person's immune system in its very formation by bombarding it with this chemical shite and all this other stuff that's in vaccines. And we're devastating immune systems and opening them up to other things later in life, which a strong immune system would not have allowed to happen. My son, he's 16, this audience today. He's never had a vaccination in his life. Healthy as the day is long. He had a health test a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and the guy said, you're the healthiest person I've ever tested. Never had a vaccination. His mates at school were getting diseases they'd been vaccinated against. He wasn't. Now I'll finish with this and I'll be quick. The carbon con. This is so important because this is being used to sell so many parts of this agenda. The idea that human-caused carbon emissions are changing the climate. Well, if pigs could fly, I would agree with it. Last time I looked, they couldn't. I'll go back to this network of organizations. One of them is the Club of Rome, set up in 1968 to use the environment to manipulate this agenda. Now, I was a national spokesman for the British Green Party in the 1980s. I have no problem with protecting the environment, to say the very bloody least. But that's not what this is about. In 1991, in a publication called The First Global Revolution of the Club of Rome, its founder, Aurelio Pecci, said this: "In searching for a new enemy to unite us, we came up with the idea that pollution, the threat of global warming, water shortages, famine, and the like would fit the bill." And that's what they've done. Greenhouse effect. This is the Idiot's Guide. I saw this on the internet. I thought it was funny. Anyway, The idea is that because of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, which is a minute greenhouse gas, the vast majority, right up into the 90% of greenhouse gas, is our water vapor and clouds. Let's ban them. The amount of greenhouse gas in the atmosphere by percentage of carbon dioxide is minimal, and the human element of that is a fraction of that. And by the way, without carbon dioxide, we couldn't live on this planet. There'd be no sodding vegetation, but now it's the fricking enemy. Enter Mr. Scam. Mr. Reptilian Hybrid Gore. They must have been psychic when they named him Gore. This guy has not only sold a monumental lie and refuses to debate, by the way, with scientists, 31,000 of which have signed a document saying there is no justification for this and nothing to support it on the scale he's talking about. But he is making a fortune out of this because he set up a company before all this came out with a guy called Blood, who from Goldman Sachs, of course, and it's known as Blood and Gore in the City of London, appropriately, and it sells carbon trading. And therefore, as Obama brings in this cap and trade carbon system, he makes a flipping fortune. And by the way, he and Donald Rumsfeld make a fortune when people use bird flu and swine flu drugs, especially one called Tamiflu. They make a fortune. Thanks for the Oscar, but I'm totally full of crap. Of course, he got the Oscar because he was designed to get the Oscar, to push this film Inconvenient Truth and sell the lies in it. And we have these concerts all around the world. And you know it's a scam these days because Madonna's singing on a stage about it, right? And they with these concerts to sell global warming, they produced this Global Warming Survival Handbook written by David de Rothschild. Stands back in amazement. And what they're doing is they're selling an excuse for vast changes. First of all, there's a wonderful computer truth: crap in, crap out. You put rubbish data in, you get rubbish data out. And what they're doing is putting suppositions about global warming and carbon dioxide emissions into their computer programs, and they're getting out dire forecasts: crap in, crap out. And it's about survival. We've got young people at school now fearing about global warming and what's going to happen to them in the future, even as year on year at the moment, because of the cycle of the sun, temperatures are falling. And this is another big one. They're looking for excuse after excuse in global warming and climate change. By the way, they're calling it climate change now. Do you realize? Do you notice that? Because temperatures are falling year on year, because the sunspot cycle is falling at the moment, they've turned global warming to climate change. International law. They're looking for anything that can be subject to international law. Why? Because if you want a global dictatorship, a world government, you need laws that everyone on the planet has to abide by, i.e. international law, and global warming is a wonderful excuse for it. This is what Gordon Brown and his mate, the leader of the Conservative Party in Britain, are saying: a new world order to save the earth on global warming. I think we need a new world order to save ourselves from Gordon Brown myself. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this, because I noticed it since I got off the plane here 2 days ago. When the sun comes out, it gets warm, you know? And when the sun's not out, it's not quite so warm. So I've worked out, because I'm clever, that Earth temperature and the sun have some connection. I have worked that out, right? And there are cycles, some of which are more powerful and less powerful, but there are cycles, and there's some strange things going on now, because we're in a low cycle that is really low, and